Okay, so I want to talk about the federal flexibility itself. That is to say, federal flexibility in the context of the testing choices for this year and the evaluation system. There have been a number of instances in which superintendents, gathered by CAPS, gathered by the CSDE, in which teachers, through their representative unions, the CEA and AFT, which CABE and CAS have expressed interest in this flexibility. I'm grateful for all of that feedback. As you know, Secretary Duncan did announce in the course of the summer that there would be flexibility for districts to choose either the Smarter Balance field test or the existing legacy tests or both in this year's testing administration, the 13-14 administration. However, I want to report to you the actual information and not distort the reality. Our federal colleagues have not yet generated the application process for states to receive approval for that purpose. We've had extensive conversations, and I'm certainly glad to represent that Connecticut's been a vigorous participant. We've had a number of conversations with the feds. We are optimistic that not only will the department keep its word on this point, but that we will be approved ultimately, but we have not yet received approval. Having said that, we need to move. The school year is upon us. It's time to proceed. So we are going to proceed as if approved. We will stay in close touch with you, and we are going to start to set forth the guidelines for this flexibility. So let me get into that with you. Here we go. Back up for me if you would. The assessment decision, first and foremost, you all, as district leaders, need to make a decision as to which assessment you wish to have administered in your district this year. We are pursuing a district choice method. That means that the default is the CMT and the CAPT, the full complement of assessments. You may opt to replace the full complement with the Smarter Balanced assessments and administer those district-wide. I know you'll want to make an informed decision. Obviously, the advantage is that it will enable you to accelerate into the Common Core era and not have one foot in each domain, which is advantageous. The specifics are evolving from the Smarter Balance Consortium itself regarding the technical specifications of the test. You should know that it is an online-only administration. There will not be paper and pencil for the 13-14 field test. So you must be technologically prepared to take the test. That's one criterion. In addition, you should know that there's a very high likelihood, a near guarantee, that the scores will be delivered later than this year's scores, into the early fall. The precise date has not been set. We will inform you of that. That has significant implications for a number of your determinations and decisions. I want to share that with you up front. We will let you know when we know if the scores can be expected in September, or if there's further drift into the school year, or if the timeline has been compressed. Let's keep in mind, the test that would be administered if you take the Smarter Balanced is a field test. So there's a lot of work that's being done behind the scenes that won't be done in future administrations. We do not expect this rhythm of late delivery of results to occur annually, okay? In addition, the type of data that you will receive. The data will be delivered at the student level at a minimum in the form of a raw score. The right and wrong responses at the student level with the ability to aggregate at the classroom level, school level, district level, okay? We are not yet clear on precisely the method that will be utilized or whether there will be one for conversion of raw score to scale score in 13-14. Let me say that again. Though we will receive a raw score on the Smarter Balanced exam, we are not yet certain the precise method through which a scale score will be arrived at and whether in fact it will be done. So you need to make a decision because the predictive value of the test for 13-14 depends upon the precise nature of the data received. We will provide more information to you as we go. We are working on methods to evolve the raw score into a scale score, either at the national level through the consortium or through an agreement among states or within our own state. So we are prepared to discuss that with you. The ability for this test to serve as a baseline for 14-15 for various accountability purposes will in part depend upon the answer to the aforementioned questions. We are working towards the goal of enabling the 13-14 Smarter Balanced Assessment to serve as a baseline assessment. So there are variables that remain, to be sure. A few other quick points. We're time compressed here, and we will revisit these issues with superintendents and with other colleagues. We are authorizing flexibility regarding the use of state test data in evaluation in 13-14, independent of the application that you have submitted for evaluation to the talent office under Dr. Sarah Barzi. So you may supplement that application with a request for flexibility. Have we received formal approval from the feds on this point? We have not. We are, as I said, we are pursuing nonetheless. So that enables districts to consider especially the possibility of undertaking the Smarter Balanced Assessment and not incorporating this field test data into evaluation, or determining the method in which you would favor incorporating such data. That's a local choice. So there's much more to say. I will mention this one more point before I move to application process. School classifications. Schools under our new system, under the ESEA waiver with the feds, are classified, for example, as review, focus, or turnaround schools. For those districts, especially with such schools, we are applying to enable you to specify that such criteria and classifications would be retained across this transition year. Another form of flexibility, where it would be more complex otherwise. So a focus school remains a focus school, a turnaround school remains a turnaround school during the transition year, if you so request. However, we are going to ask for some supplementary information from you. So all of that to get to the application. You don't have to remember all of this. This is not the last time by any means we're going to explain this, but we are entering the school year, and we want to prepare you as well as possible. We will be preparing an application form for the purpose of a district opting in to the Smarter Balanced Assessment in this year, the 13-14 academic year. The elements of that application, if you wish to begin thinking about the application, are as follows. The use of test data in evaluation or alternatives. Do you wish to use state test data in evaluation? If so, how? If not, for SLO1, that is the first 22.5% of the measure for student learning, what would you do? So you'd be substituting and supplementing your previously approved evaluation application on that basis. We will explain all of this in an application form and multiple times, just reviewing with you so you can begin thinking. School classification and retention. I explained the focus, review, and turnaround school scenario. We will ask of you that you nonetheless describe to us possible progress measures for schools, so that this year is not merely a pass, but that there are ways in which we are monitoring schools' progress. Or you may choose not to retain the classifications. You need to account for the early fall arrival of data, that is the late arrival of data. What will that mean for your other systems? Describe how you will accommodate and adjust. And you must demonstrate technological readiness, that you have the hardware and the bandwidth to conduct the assessments. I'm going into this level of detail because I know that this is a decision that is upon us and upon you, and that you want to go into the school year knowing which tested objectives are you aiming for in the context of your overall curricular and teaching and learning program.
Yes, please.
The application
application to participate in the SBAC
Yes.
assessment in 2014.
Yes.
Is there going to have to be a sign-off approval by the board, or ultimately whose decision is that?
We're going to make that determination as we formulate the application. I will say the likelihood is that we will require a consultation process at a minimum with local board and local stakeholders, and we will articulate more formally the method. To some degree, I'm looking at Mr. Rader, to some degree, Bob, it will depend upon local board policy. So we'll discuss with Bob and Cabe and determine that. I'm not sure that I emphasized it, though it was on the slide. We are aiming for an application available to you by early September. By early September. That's our objective for ourselves, independent of whether there's federal authorization. That's formal. Any approvals that are granted to districts will be conditional upon federal authorization. Okay, just want to make sure I clarify those points, even if they were on the slides. I wanted to vocalize them. Yes?
If a district opts for the Smart Balance field test, are you still on the hook for CMT and CAP science?
You are. Thank you for clarifying that. You are. You do. We will continue to administer CMT and CAP science independent of district transitions and on a continuing basis. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Please.
And another question about that. With the Smarter Balance, who takes it in the high school? Would it be 10th grade or would it be 11th?
Smarter Balanced is administered in the 11th. During the field test year, there is some requirement that participating states administer through the entire continuum through 11. Just in this 1 year, we're clarifying sample size requirements. The permanent answer is 11. Okay.
Possibly be 9th, 10th, and 11th?
For this year, for some field testing that's required. Diana, do you want to supplement what I said?
You're absolutely right, Commissioner. For some field testing purposes, for finding the range of various responses, some of our Connecticut 9th and 10th graders will participate in the field test this year, but the Smarter Balanced high school test is an 11th grade test.
Additional questions? Seeing none, I will pause. Yes?
With the, if we opt for the Smarter Balance, you mentioned that there was a field test, a legacy, or both.
Okay, got it. Thank you. It's probably a scramble of terminology that's hard to decipher. So the question was, your question is, what's the terminology, what's the definition of field test, what's the definition of legacy test? The field test is the administration of the Smarter Balance test this year, the 13-14 year. The test itself is a field test in that it's the first administration of the test following a pilot that occurred last year. The technical term for it is field test. There are refinements that will be made between the field test and the ultimate administration in 14-15, which will be a national administration. Not all states are opting in to the type of field test district-based choice that we are. As a matter of fact, there are a variety of approaches that states are taking. So all it means when I say the field test is the SBAC test this year, the Smarter Balance test this year. Okay? It has the precise band, Diana and Emily, the precise band of opportunity to take the test for SBAC been established by SBAC for the field test. What's the window?
It'll be a 2-month window.
Yeah, it'll be a 2-month window. We will share with you the precise parameters. Okay, in the spring.
And the legacy?
The legacy test is just a term of art, meaning any state's pre-existing tests. So it's the CMT and CAPT. Every time I refer to legacy tests, it simply means CMT and CAPT, and apologies for jumping into that lexicon.
CAP's been eliminated from your system.
No, that is not correct. No. Many things are possible in this world. Good rhetorical question. Yes, Superintendent.
Do we have to have, should we be concerned about the quality of the items in this last administration of the CMT test? And should we be considering that as we're balancing?
No, I don't think that's a consideration. I'll permit Diana and or Emily to reply, but I don't think the quality of the items is the issue. I do think that the tension with the Common Core is the issue. Do you want to say anything more about that?
For the 2014 administration, Dr. Kishimoto, the 2014 administration of CMT will be a fresh form, and it's up to its usual quality, so we won't have to worry about the quality of items. However, they will not be aligned to the Common Core state standards, just as our 2013 were not.
Yes,
I
please.
just wanted to go back to the participants. So if we use Smarter Balance, which it sounds like it is a good idea, and at the high school level, it's clear that in its true form, or in the form it will be in, it's an 11th grade assessment.
Correct.
And it sounds to me like we do not know at this point in time how many of our students in grades 9 and 10 would also be required.
Correct, and I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. It'll be a more traditional field test model, which means that it would be more on a sampling basis. So it's just not, I wouldn't be concerned about it. It doesn't have to enter into your decision making. I want it to be thorough in my response, but I would think about it as 3 through 8 and 11.
All right, so it would definitely be all grade 11 though, and then samples from 9 and 10.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Please.
Did I understand correctly that if we have focus school this year, that we have the option of not continuing as a focus school?
Option of retaining your designation
Okay.
without penalty.
What's the advantage?
So meaning that it's not that if you didn't meet your targets, there would be a penalty and repercussions. You might retain your designation. However, we are going to ask for supplementary progress measures that you describe to us. That's what it means. And we'll spell it out more and explain it further.
Will there be any hope for some funding for focus schools this year?
There's no special pot, but there are limited funds that are available for specific scenarios. So it's a worthwhile conversation with the state, but it's not that we're making a major new funding program available, no. Any additional questions? Hearing none, I thank you and I wish you a good year.